Good morning. My ramble today is about something I read regarding a 1940s festival, which was in Sheringham, I believe, in Norfolk. There were people obviously dressed up in 1940s costume, and the inevitable British soldiers and German soldiers, as they were putting on a battle display for the entertainment of the public. And some people apparently got really annoyed at the people dressed in German uniforms. Well, you can't have a reenactment, especially a battle reenactment, without two sides. And you need people to dress up as German soldiers, just as you need people to dress up as British military. People don't seem to understand that reenactments don't mean you sympathise with whichever side you happen to be portraying. It is very much a reenactment. I wouldn't put us in the same class as actors, but that's basically what we're doing. I mean, I must declare an interest here. I do English Civil War reenactments with a group called the Sealed Knot, and we do them up and down the country. I've been doing it 25 years now, and it's great fun. I do Puritan preaching. I've also been a musketeer and an officer and all sorts of things. And it is fun, and our primary objective is to talk to the public and explain some of the things that aren't taught in schools regarding the English Civil War period and what happened and the repercussions of it. If you don't like what people are saying, don't go. I mean, we're doing a reenactment. There's no point in having a reenactment and being politically correct, because they weren't in today's society. Looking back on today's society, these were people who had their own ideas, and there's no point in trying to whitewash it and make it all nice and squeaky clean when it wasn't. And that's the idea, is to let people know what it was like. Now, going back to what's happening what happened last weekend in Sheringham, I believe it was, somebody got upset about the people in German military uniforms, but they were portraying a role. These weren't Nazis, they weren't German soldiers. You can't have a battle display with only one side involved. You need people to portray the other side. It'd be like going to see Othello or something and arresting the guy on stage for attempted murder of his wife. He's portraying a role, he's an actor. And to a great degree, that's what we do. We work long and hard to make sure our costumes are authentic, or as authentic as possible. Obviously, the Second World War is easier because some of the equipment is still lying around and people can buy it. And I just don't understand why people get so wound up by it. My father fought in the Second World War, so I've got quite a close link to it, even though I wasn't around at the time. I wasn't born till long after the Second World War. But he would never talk about his war experiences. And when I spoke to him about the Second World War reenactment groups, he was ambivalent at best. But I can understand that. It was in his living memory. These things tend to get over-dramatised in the media, I think. When I actually looked into it a little bit more, various news sources, it turned out that there was only about two people who were having a go at these guys, and they were drunk, which is probably what happened. I imagine they just got drunk and just got annoyed and decided to have a go at somebody, and these guys were dressed in military costume. We'll have a go at them. Now the council's talking about banning German military uniforms at any future events. Well, you can't have an event of a 1940s festival without the German contingent, simply because it's historical fact. You can't just brush it aside and say it didn't happen. It did happen. As sad as it was, it happened. Not all Germans were Nazis. Not all reenactors support the Nazis. In fact, nobody does. I mean, that's why we do it, to try and show people how dangerous forgetting your history can be. I personally have been threatened with being arrested for inciting racial hatred when doing a Puritan rant, but obviously nothing came of it. The thing was that in those days, that's how people thought, that's how people acted. If you don't want to see it, don't go. It's as simple as that. If you want to completely forget about history, don't go. The Romans took thousands of slaves from this country, but we don't see people protesting about the Roman centurions when they do their reenactments. So all I'd say is just be a little bit more understanding of why people are doing what they do. We do it to raise money for charities, and you can look this up. I belong to the Sealed Knot, which is an English Civil War society. We are a registered charity, and we give money every year to a particular charity which is nominated. We also give money to help keep artefacts from that time in this country, and we help give museums money to buy for it. We go into schools, we talk about the English Civil War. I've done it myself, and we talk about what happened, the climate at the time, and it's really a warning from history that it's very easy to fall into these traps and create a situation where you have a civil war. That's why we do it, but mainly just hopefully to educate people on how easy it is to become dangerously involved with these sort of extremists. I would imagine that the German people who were dressed up in German costume were doing exactly the same thing. None of them were Nazis. None of them were even German. They just did it because somebody had to. You can't have a battle reenactment with only one side on the field. It would be a bit ridiculous, wouldn't it? So I'll just ask people out there to be a little bit more tolerant and perhaps go and talk to them sensibly about why they're doing what they do. I know the Second World War is a bit close. Personally, I wouldn't do it because I think it's too close to living memory. But I can understand why these people do it. And I think that they're only doing it for the best of reasons. And people should be a little bit more tolerant on why they're doing it. Okay, that's my ramble for today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like and subscribe. And I will see you at my next one. And a good day to you all.